American Stonehenge. Ancient Mysteries and Unsolved U.S. History. Have you ever walked through a forest, surrounded by quiet trees, when suddenly the ground seems to change? Imagine stepping into a clearing and realizing you're standing among massive stones arranged, not by nature, but by human hands. Enormous slabs balanced on one another, chambers built into the earth, and stones that line up perfectly with the sun on the longest day of the year. This isn't England. It isn't Europe. This is New England, New Hampshire, to be exact. And the place is called the American Stonehenge. For decades, it has puzzled archaeologists, baffled historians, and sparked endless debate, because this site, sometimes called Mystery Hill Docenti, seemed to fit neatly into any story we know about the past. Who built it, when, and for what purpose? Some say Native Americans, others insist ancient European travelers. A few whisper about civilizations we've forgotten altogether. And as you walk among its dark stone chambers and strange alignments, you can't help but wonder, what secret is this place keeping? Let's travel back, not just hundreds, but thousands of years, and step into the mystery of America's very own Stonehenge. Picture this. The year is not 1776, not even 1492. We're talking thousands of years before Columbus, before the Pilgrims, before the United States ever existed. Somewhere in the forests of New England, people were arranging stones in ways that defy explanation. Archaeologists have discovered that the site was not a single construction project. It wasn't built in one moment in history, like a house or a barn. Instead, it seems to have been used, altered, and added to over many centuries. This makes dating it difficult. Some evidence suggests it may be as old as 4,000 years. That would put it on par with some of the world's oldest monuments. When visitors first see it, they often think it looks like the ruins of an ancient village. There are stone walls, passageways, and even chambers you can crawl inside. Some chambers are so precise that their roofs, made of giant flat stones, have stood for centuries without collapsing. And then there are the alignments. On the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the sun rises in perfect alignment with one of the standing stones. On the winter solstice, the shortest day, the sun sets in a similar way. Other stones align with equinoxes and even with the moon. Now, stop for a moment. What does that tell us? Whoever built this place wasn't just stacking rocks. They were watching the sky. They were tracking the heavens. They were measuring time itself. But who were they? That's the question that keeps people awake at night. The mainstream explanation is that the American Stonehenge was built by Native Americans. Some archaeologists believe the site was a ceremonial center, a place for rituals and astronomy. Native cultures across North America were known to build earthworks, stone mounds, and alignments that tracked the movements of the sun and moon. But here's the problem. The chambers of Mystery Hill don't look like most Native American structures. They look different. Some resemble megalithic sites in Ireland, Scotland, and Spain. In fact, visitors from Europe have often commented that it feels eerily familiar, almost as if they were walking among ancient ruins from their own homeland. Could it mean that long before Columbus, ancient seafarers crossed the Atlantic and built this monument? If so, the history of America as we know it would need to be read. Some point to the Sults, who built stone chambers and astronomical sites across Europe thousands of years ago. Others mention the Phoenicians, great sailors of the Mediterranean who may have traveled farther than we think. A few even suggest Norse explorers, centuries before the Vikings reached Newfoundland. But there's a bigger, stranger possibility. What if this site is the last trace of a civilization we've forgotten? A people erased from history, leaving behind nothing but these silent stones. As you walk deeper into the site, the mystery only grows. Some stones have markings, faint carvings that don't seem natural. One stone even has what looks like an ancient script, though scholars debate whether it's genuine or just wishful thinking. There are passageways that feel almost like tombs, and underground chambers that make you wonder who or what was once placed inside. And then there's the oracle chamber. Imagine stepping into a small stone room, dimly lit, with a carved stone slab that looks like an altar. Hustabobi eat. There's a small opening in the wall speaking tube. If someone whispered into it, their voice would echo into the chamber below, sounding as if it came from the gods. Some believe this chamber was used for rituals, perhaps even sacrifices. Others think it was simply for ceremonies or storytelling. Whatever the case, it's unsettling. You can almost hear the voices of the past when you stand there. Now, imagine this. A traveler arrives here, thousands of years ago. He enters the oracle chamber. A priest or leader speaks through the stone tube. His voice booms, as if from nowhere. The people kneel, believing they are in the presence of something divine. Could this have been a place of power? A temple? Or was it something far more ordinary, just misunderstood today? Skeptics argue the site is much more recent. They say colonial farmers in the 1600s or 1700s built the stone walls and chambers as root cellars and shelters. After all, early settlers did build with stone, and many New England forests are filled with old stone walls. But here's the catch. Many of the alignments are too precise, too deliberate. Why would farmers line up their cellars with the solstice? Why would they build chambers with massive slabs that take dozens of people to move, when smaller stones would have been easier? And then there's the age. Radiocarbon dating of charcoal found at the site suggests human activity here thousands of years ago, long before colonial times. That evidence doesn't fit neatly with the pharma theory. So once again, we are left with uncertainty. Let's step back and think about what this means. Imagine you're an archaeologist, standing there with your notebook, trying to piece together the past. You see the chambers, the alignments, the strange carvings. You know, people were here long ago, but you don't know who they were. It's like being handed a puzzle with half the pieces missing. The American Stonehenge is a riddle in stone, a whisper from a time before our time. And every theory, whether Native American, European, or something else, opens the door to even bigger questions. Could this be proof that ancient travelers crossed oceans long before history says they did? Could it be evidence of knowledge we've forgotten? Or is it simply a reminder that we still don't understand the full story of America's past? Now, let me ask you this. If you stood there, in the clearing, watching the sun rise over the standing stone on the summer solstice, what would you feel? Fear? Curiosity? Would you believe you were standing in the presence of something sacred, something powerful? Or would you see only a pile of rocks, weathered by time? The truth is, mystery has a way of shaping how we see the world. Stonehenge in England, the pyramids in Egypt, the temples of the Maya, all of them remind us that human history is deeper and stranger than we often admit. And the American Stonehenge, hidden in the quiet forests of New Hampshire, may be one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of them all. Even today, tourists come from across the world to see it. Some leave with goosebumps. Others leave disappointed, thinking it's just a pile of rocks. But all of them leave with questions. And maybe that's the real purpose of the site too, keep us asking, to keep us wondering, to remind us that not everything can be explained. So, what do you think? Was the American Stonehenge built by Native Americans, European travelers, or a civilization we lost to time? Was it a temple, a calendar, or something more mysterious? Whatever your answer, the stones are still there. Silent, watching, waiting. And maybe, just maybe, the mystery isn't meant to be solved. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more unsolved history and ancient mysteries, and share it with someone who loves exploring the secrets of the past. Because the American Stonehenge is only one chapter in the story of human history, and many more mysteries are waiting to be uncovered.